dead rise from the grave, you have it now. If you've never seen perfect love break chains, you have it now. If you've never seen mercy make depression fade, you have now. Oh, if you've never looked a miracle in the face, you have it now. Cause if you knew my past, if you knew where I've been, if you knew what he brought me through, you would lift your hands, you'd sing and dance, you wouldn't miss this chance, no, you'd thank him too. Cause my life's the proof of what he can do. Cause I'm still breathing now, I can't help but shout, I gotta let it out, and let praise break through. If you've never seen anxiety power Jesus' name, you have it now. If you've never seen addiction conquered by grace, you have it now. Oh, if you've never seen a generational curse break, you have now. Oh, if you've never looked a miracle in the face, you have it now. Cause if you knew my past, if you knew where I've been, if you knew what he brought me through, you would lift your hands, you'd sing and dance, you wouldn't miss this chance, though you'd thank him too. Cause my life's the proof of what he can do. Cause I'm still breathing now, I can't help but shout, I gotta let it out, and let praise break through. And I've seen too much, yeah. If you never do one more thing for me, you've done more than enough. You're all I need, you have my love. Oh Lord, if you never do one more thing for me, you've done more than enough. Oh, I've seen too much, I've no choice but trust. I've seen too much, oh, I've seen too much. If you've never seen the dead rise from the grave, you have it now. If you've never seen perfect love break chains, you have it now. If you've never seen mercy make depression fade, you have now. Oh, if you've never looked a miracle in the face, you have it now. Cause if you knew my past, if you knew where I've been, if you knew what he brought me through, you would lift your hands, you'd sing and dance, you wouldn't miss this chance, no, you'd thank him too. Cause my life's the proof of what he can do. Cause I'm still breathing now, I can't help but shout, I gotta let it out, and let praise break through. If you've never seen anxiety power Jesus' name, you have it now. If you've never seen addiction conquered by grace, you have it now. Oh, if you've never seen a generational curse break, you have now. Oh, if you've never looked a miracle in the face, you have it now. Cause if you knew my past, if you knew where I've been, if you knew what he brought me through, you would lift your hands, you'd sing and dance, you wouldn't miss this chance, though you'd thank what he can do, 'cause I'm still breathing now. I can't help but sigh. I gotta let.
Well, here you are.
Good morning.
What's up there, Pastor Dave?
Good morning.
Hello. Let me get the chat put on here real quick. Why do I hear an echo? Do you hear that echo? Mm-hmm. I don't remember how to use this thing. Is that weird? It's been a while. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us? All right. Well, it's been, I don't even know. It's been months since we've been on here. So why don't you give a quick update as to what's been going on your side of things? And yeah. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Vaguely.
Okay.
My speakers on here are rattly for some reason, so.
Well, we'll have to get it fixed.
Right, we'll have to fix that.
But yeah, so just give us a quick rundown on what's been going on with you. And I mean, it's been a hot minute since we were on here, so welcome to the Sermonators podcast with Pastor Dave and Pastor Brandon, pastors at Freedom Bible Church out of Montana. We do have the chat open up today, so if you have any questions, comments, leave it in the chat. Good morning, Emmanuel. We love you, brother.
Morning,
Can't
Emmanuel.
wait to see you soon. But yeah, just give us a quick rundown on what's going on in your life, what you've been up to.
So we've been really busy. It's been a whirlwind of events around here, and just a lot of things happening, from leaving the church building we were at up in our Lee. And I think if y'all seen on Facebook, maybe you've seen that. But we had that happen, and then so we're in the process of looking for a permanent home where we can plant roots and just give the people that God's entrusted to us a place to call home. So we've been doing that, and we actually have a meeting this afternoon with the county about some property that we found. So if y'all could be in prayer about that. We, as a church, we fasted yesterday for 24 hours and just really sought God and in favor with what's coming up. And we know that whatever happens, that God's ultimately in control. We are standing firm by our motto that when he moves, we move, and when he stays put, we stay put. So right now we're currently meeting up at the mountain when it's not raining, and so yeah, it's been a whirlwind of events. And then Pastor Brandon, why don't you just kind of fill them in with what's been happening with your speaking engagements that we've been to as well.
Well, a few weeks ago, we went up to Superior, Montana, and we were invited to the Constitutional Republican Women's Meeting. So we went up there and spoke. And then a few weeks after that, we had a busy week. Was it last week? A week? I don't know. They're all running together now. But so we had that first one, and then we got invited to the Lincoln Reagan dinner. That one was in Alberton. That was a Friday night. No, that was Saturday. Friday night, I was in Butte. Saturday afternoon, we went up to see Melissa, which is her birthday today. So happy birthday, Melissa. But sweet cake by Melissa up in Ronan. If you're ever in the area, go and check her out. And then, so that was Saturday morning. Saturday night, we were at the Lincoln Reagan dinner. And then Sunday morning, we flew out to Austin, Texas. And we were in Austin for a couple of days. We spoke before the Senate. that had to do with freedom of speech and freedom of religion within the National Association of Realtors. And then we got back Monday we got back. So it's just been a whirlwind, but it's also been a lot of but God moments. So it's pretty cool to see what's happening. Uh, and seeing actually, I don't know if Emmanuel's still on or not, but seeing the prophecy that he prophesied over myself and the church coming to fruition.
So I'm going to try to do something random with my. I'm going to try to switch over to my phone. The speakers on my end are really rattly. I don't know if it's
All right.
from my phone or from my computer, or if it's from the microphone on your end. But I'm going to try to switch over. So why don't you tell them about all the favor that we received while we were traveling, and just how God really showed up and really showed out as far as his love and his just even care for our comfort as we traveled.
Well, a lot of it, came down to when it started with the financial favor because I was asked to go down to Tennessee or Texas and speak before the Senate, and we needed to raise the money to be able to afford airfare, car, hotel, everything, and we did that within less than 24 hours. And not only that, we ended up not having to raise as much as we thought because um, we found cheaper airfare. We found a cheaper package deal, and it was almost by half. So it really started, at the very beginning financially, and then when we got on the airplane, will you do me a favor? Will you run to the living room, turn that on, and see how it sounds? See if it sounds. Jamie's in here with me, so he can say hi to everybody. Yeah, there's Jamie. We got a big announcement coming about that guy here pretty soon, but that's for another day. Anyway, it came down to when we got to Spokane, we got on. Well, we first go check. Sorry, it took me. I'm all over the place right now, so I apologize. When we first got to the airport, we went to check in, and I noticed that Dave and I were sitting in different rows, and so I just went and asked the lady if she would be willing to put us together, and she said she would not be able to do it. That we would have to go to the ticket counter, which was no big deal. I told her that's fine, and we went up there. But then she just said, "Here you go. I've moved you guys." And so, I mean, she took care of it right there. And that's really how it started. Then we got on the airplane, and I'll let you tell them a little bit about Gingy, our flight attendant from Spokane to Seattle and then Seattle to Austin. Nope. I wonder if there is still, because I don't hear it anymore.
Sorry, y'all. I'm having a little bit of trouble here.
That's how it
I know
always
it
happens.
does. It's a little bit different this time, but it's okay. Well, I'll just try to tune my ears better to the static sound, and hopefully I can hear you better.
Did you hear me talk about Gingy?
Talk about what?
Gingy.
Okay.
Well, that's how. How about you do this? Just come over here, and we'll sit
All right,
in
we'll
this
do that.
computer. And,
All right.
yeah, because then Let's just shut Pastor Dave off real quick because he's going to come over here and join me. I think that's where it's come through. It's come through the wall.
All right, sorry about that. Sorry, Johnny.
No, it's all good.
We'll grab another one.
What did you ask me to speak about?
To speak about Gingy.
Oh, Gingy. Okay. I thought you were saying Virginia for some reason. I'm like,
Well, I mean, we could talk about Virginia too. So, I mean, she was another part of this story.
she was. So we met Gingy on the first flight from Spokane to Seattle, and she was overly accommodating to us as far as we were stuck in the same seat or the same row together, and she was able to make it to where we didn't. We're on the next flight from Seattle down to Austin. We were able to have our own. Wow, we've been in the sun too long. We were able to have our own row actually, and we were right across from each other, so we were able to still talk and communicate. And but she went out of her way. It was funny. She had offered us, told us that on the flight to Seattle that there wouldn't be any. Were there even any drinks at all?
Mm-mm.
There were no drinks or no food on that flight because it was because it was such a short hop, and we
That was from Seattle to Spokane.
yeah, it's from
Or
Spokane to Seattle.
Yeah.
But then we told her that we were actually traveling all the way to Austin, and she was excited because she was traveling with us also. So on that next flight, like I said, we had our own row, and we sat right across from each other. When we were in Seattle, though, Pastor Brandon said, he's like, I've never ever had favor and just genuine. What do you want to call that? Just being nice, just genuinely being nice, like we had just received. So he told me to run to the gift shop and pick her up something. We found one card, thank you card, and so we were able to sign that, and we also put our church business card in there for her as well. So that way on there is a QR code, and that way she'd be able to actually watch church with us. But on the flight, when they came by to give us our drinks, there was no charge. There was no charge for anything. And then when they came back by with food, it was interesting because these little boxes that are like, I don't know, maybe 9 inches by 4 inches, 5 inches, something like that. They're $11 for a little tiny box of snacks. And she ended up giving both of us free meals during that, which was really, really cool of her to do. When we were actually getting off the plane, she asked us if she could give us a hug. She said nobody had ever given her anything, that they were basically just used to being, talked down to, or they're usually talked down to, and people are usually just nasty towards them. So praise God that we were his love, and we weren't being grumpy or anything like that. That would have been a bad day. So
Yeah, Dave's always grumpy, so I had to tell him to stay in line.
always grumpy, right?
Yeah, something like that.
What did you just put up there on the screen?
I just put a QR code up there. Ooh, someone scanned it. Hey, it was me. We just put a QR code up. Actually, we have a lot of, we have been invited back to Texas when this bill goes to the House. And so I'm going to start, putting some money aside now. So it's not a scramble at the end of the last minute like it was last time. But yeah, so it was just, we got to Texas. It was a packed couple days. We got to Texas at 2:30, and then we went and had dinner. It was actually kind of funny because we stopped at In-N-Out because everybody has to go to In-N-Out, and so we went to In-N-Out when we first got there. And while we were in the drive-through, my buddy called me and he's like, "Hey, if you want to, let's get some dinner." And I'm like, "Okay, well, when do you want to meet? Where you want to go?" And he goes, "Oh, how about right now? We'll go to a Mexican restaurant." And so Dave and I kind of chuckled because we're sitting at In-N-Out in the drive-through, and then we have to go eat. We didn't have to; we chose to, but go hang out with a couple of our new buddies down there. And to be honest with you, In-N-Out was disgusting,
Terrible.
And I can't believe I'd ever say that because every time I've had it, it was amazing. But this was the worst In-N-Out we've ever had. Anyway, so we went there, got back to the motel like 9 o'clock. Had to be back to the Capitol building by 8 o'clock the next morning. And then we were there. What'd you say we walked? 4.8 miles at 16,000 steps or something like that.
Yeah, it was one of our greatest exercises since we've known each other.
Yeah, and they always say, my legs were shorter, so I probably doubled it because I had a hard time keeping up. One of our guys there, he was taller than Dave, and he's got,
oh my goodness,
what do you call that? Where you're walking
his stride.
His stride, I mean, he was like 7 miles down from me, and here's this little short, fat dude that's. I rebuke that in Jesus' name. Trying to keep up with this group of people. And thank goodness that Jamie decided she wanted to stay back and talk to everybody because Dave hung out with them. So that gave me like a 5-minute head start. And by the time they caught up with me, we're at the next office. So, but no, it was good. It was, all humor set aside, we were able to speak before the Texas Senate, the State Affairs Committee for Senate Bill 2317. Which is actually going, it's working on freedom of speech. A lot of you know my story with the National Association of Realtors. And so through that, I was actually able to meet, you've seen me sharing a lot of stuff about Wilson Faber out of Virginia. And then I was able to meet Chad DeVries, or we were able to. And then we also were able to meet Jamie Haynes, who is another realtor who went through it. And Virginia was another one. It's just crazy, how many people came together. And I'm not saying, Montana, when I went through it in Montana supported me. Well, let's say a majority of it. A majority of Montana backed me, and they still do. And this isn't nothing against Montana. It's just that it's currently in front of the Texas Senate. And so that's why, we're spending a lot of time down in Texas. It has nothing to do. I am the most loved pastor. If we're just being honest, you can read into that how you want to, but I am the most loved pastor of Montana, whether you want to believe it or not, but that's okay.
And with Texas having such a big voice nationally, it was very valuable for him to be able to speak down there as well as the others that spoke. It was very, I told him after he was done speaking that I was really proud of him. If y'all got a chance to listen to it, all of the realtors that spoke just were very. You could tell that they're very passionate. Not only because it's not just about the freedom of speech, but it really boils down to our freedom of religion as Christians as well.
Right.
So.
Well, and I'm hoping we're trying to get a time and date figured out that Chad and Wilson and Jamie and myself and Ryan, if he wants to, that we can get all, on a podcast like this and really talk about, what happened that day, because there was a lot that took place down there, and it's so cool to hear the different perspectives and actually, all of us that were there had a great testimony before the Senate. And I don't hear my heart when I say this. I don't want to discredit anything that happened that day, but and we'll post the link. I posted the link on my personal page. You can go back and watch it, but really what came down to what came down to it is when the TAR, the Texas Association of Realtors, they weren't there during our testimony, and the Senate was wondering where they were and why they weren't there for a bill that really revolves around them. And so they had to break for the Senate to have their, they needed the chamber so they could have their, man, everything is leaving me today.
Right. What's that?
We broke for the
Just general
committee.
session, basically.
Yeah, they had to have their Senate session. So we had to take a break. But during that break, obviously TAR heard what was going on because they were there when we reconvened. And I'll tell you what, Jamie, you know, TAR was, in my opinion, not being 100% truthful. And Jamie really was able to, because they called Jamie back up to the table to testify with the Senate before TAR, and she was really to hit it home. But please, I mean, that does not discredit Ryan's testimony or Mary Elizabeth's testimony or Wilson or, you know, Ryan Heath. It doesn't, Virginia's, it doesn't take away from that, but it was actually it was a good time for the senators to see what the associations are saying compared to what the actual individuals are saying. And Jamie, you know, Jamie lives in Texas, and so it was a good thing for them to be able to see, in my opinion. But I do want to, we want to get Wilson on and Chad and Jamie, myself, and really talk about what took place. Oh, hey, Wilson's right there. I wonder if we could pull him on. Wilson, you want to jump on? I think we could just do it right here. Invite a guest. Copy. Oops. I'm going to email you a link, or I'll text you a link if you want to get on. And then actually, I'll have to email it to you. So if you want to get on, you can. Just let me know, and then we'll bring you up. But Wilson just texted or just sent a message here, and it will be, if he can get on, that would be amazing, because it will, you can get his perspective, but I still would like to get all of us on here. It would be really good. I just sent you that link, Wilson. If you're still on, if you want to jump on, let me know, and we'll just pull you through. But let's keep talking for the time being. What was your perspective? Because you know, this is kind of new to you. So what was your perspective through all of that?
Well, honestly, it was all new to me. I mean, we've you know, Pastor Brandon and I spoke in front of the Senate here in Montana over another case back a few months ago. But what I found really interesting is how when the testimonies were being given, senators were with them as far as paying attention. Like they were just literally hanging on the edge of their seat. And then when they started asking questions and just started making statements, how passionate they were about the fact that I mean, a lot of it had to do, and I will be honest with you, you know, this is Texas Senate, right? So a lot of it had to do that it was affecting their people, the fellow Texan. And because of that, and then hearing all the other stories from all the other places, Arizona, Virginia, Montana, is that it? I think that was it. Arizona, right? So hearing the stories from the other places, they realized that there was a big problem, and just you know, it was almost like being at church for a moment. There are a few people that actually pounded the desk, you know, or they were just really upset about it and just adamant that it needed to be changed. So with that, though, it gave me a new perspective as far as what happens in the Senate. That was really, you know, like I said, we spoke up in Montana, up in Helena, over a different case, and when we were there, literally as we looked around there,
some of the senators that were there were actually just doing anything but listening. You know, we had one person who was crocheting, another who was reading a book, I believe. And honestly, they just looked disinterested. And I really just give a lot of praise to the Texas senators that were there on that committee, just because they, freedom of speech and freedom of religion really is at the core of everything that we stand for as Americans, right?
Right.
And without those, there's just, I mean, what do you really have if you don't have either of those? So they, I've seen God working in there. The matter of fact, when we walked into the Senate, that's what was interesting. So when we actually walked into that chambers, throughout the rest of the building, there was just kind of a heaviness over the building, spiritual heaviness over it. But when we walked into that Senate chamber, it really just it lifted, and you could just really feel the Holy Spirit presence over that entire area. And you know, we had talked the day before about the enemy. The enemy. I'd spoken a few nights before that about the wiles of the devil, and wiles basically is a devious strategy, right? So if the enemy has a devious strategy, and we're in a battle, we're in a war, which we are, then we obviously need to have our own strategy how to defeat that and how to overcome and to win each battle as we go forward. So as we were talking about that, I just noticed that really the people that were there, the realtors that were there, they were really understanding the significance of how, you know, we're in the Bible Belt down there in Texas, right? And so I'm not saying that all these senators are Christians. I don't know their heart. I don't know their relationship with Jesus, but at the same time, a lot of them, they've spent their childhood years maybe with on grandma's lap, listening to her read Bible stories, and Sunday school and vacation Bible school and church, and you know, to have that freedom that they had as a child basically be stripped away by literally an outside organization, the NAR. I really think it touched. I think it really touched them, and they felt that, and I would say that they were as passionate about getting this bill passed as honestly as any of the realtors who were up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like I said, let's stay tuned, because I do want to get Jamie and Wilson and Chad and myself and Ryan, if he wants to come on, and Virginia, you know, just the people that were there, get them on it and just sit down, have a conversation, you know, so then that way you guys can hear about everything else that took place in Texas. And then, you know, since getting back, and we are in the process of looking for a new building. We have that meeting today with the county, and so we're praying for favor on that. And we'll just kind of see. We're getting ready for the 2025 Montana Freedom Conference. But we just wanted to get on really and say hello. It's been a while. And hopefully we can start doing these more often. Hopefully we'll get our schedules in line a little bit. Wilson, I'm glad that you were having lunch with your mother. Give her a hug from us. We love you, brother. But other than that, I don't have much more. We just, like I said, we want to get on, say hi, and let you guys know that we're still here.
We're here.
We love you. We're working on some things, and we'll try to get back to doing this weekly. So we will talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.
Love you.